Recording. All right, so it's 3:01. I will go ahead and just start with our announcements. I see Annie did join us. Hi, everybody. Very good to have you. September the 10th, and it's a new day, new era for all of us, lots of things happening around the world, important things, But over here with this group, so we just had our last meeting for the mechanics of mediumship, and by September the 3rd, the next one is going to be September the 24th, and then before that, then we'll have one last meeting before our practice here, or our in-person meeting here in Houston. So if you happen to make plans to come over, let me know so I know exactly the number of people coming. And those are the very last topics that we will be covering. Errant spirits, Liz and Livia will cover that, and action of spirits in the physical plane. We started talking about errant spirits, and we didn't finish, so we will wrap up on this topic, and then Josie and Maria will cover action of spirits in the physical plane. Announcement. So this is just a reminder. I told you guys last week. So October the 10th until the 16th, that will be this event, the second world meeting of Jesus Friend with Chico Xavier, if you will, Chico Xavier, for the Brazilians and his legacy. So this is free of charge. This is an online event, and it will be broadcasted by this group. And you all know we have this YouTube channel that is Science and Spirituality Connection. And then if you do not have the time, if you're not available to watch any of these venues by the time they broadcast it, that's fine, because the recording will be available for us to see later on. And also November the 5th, that will be another event. This is going to be at Rice University. It's going to take place at the Rice University here in Houston. It is in person, but I know, I did talk to them, that there is a huge group, around the globe, and they are working on having online access as well. As soon as I have that, I will let you guys know. November the 5th, time for a renewal, healing for renewal. I know some of those speakers over here, lots and lots of very good, nice people. And it's going to be a whole day full of very nice lectures. And with that, I'm going to open with our prayer for the day. As usual, we start with our prayer. And so we'll just relax a little bit and close our eyes, elevate our thoughts, ask permission to start with this meeting today, and ask also for our mentors, the mentors of the group, this group, the mentors of our speaker, and the good spirits to be here with us. Dear Jesus, may our study today and always be filled with peace, prosperity, and love. May your blessings shower upon us, upon the whole world, and grant upon each one of us these bright, healthy, charitable, and peaceful days to come. Master Jesus, please make our journey a happy one. not by shielding us from sorrow and pain, but by strengthening us to bear it if it comes. Inspire our speaker of the day, Flavio Dias de Morais, to deliver his message to us the best way possible, so we not only improve our education, but can also benefit from it, learning from it, how to better apply the practice of the day about reincarnation. Shine your light in us, through us, over us, protect us, this group, this study, and our invitee, Flavio, from any undesirable influence. We ask for your guide and protection for our lives and the life of our family members and friends. Set your way before us, Jesus. May we make a difference in this world for your glory and purpose. And so be it.
So be it.
Amen.
Yes, amen. So, so again, this is Flavio. He will be talking about the reincarnation theory, analytical considerations. I've seen this this lecture, and it is a very good one, wonderful perspective. And to me, particularly, I thought that was a very interesting topic. I am also an engineer, and Flavio is a mechanical engineer, so he has the same kind of train of thoughts and the perspective as I do. So I like the way that he presented this topic. So Flavio, he holds a mechanical engineering degree. He is very active in his profession, and he is very known to Spiritism, and Spiritism is not a secret for him because he knows that for more than 30 years. And he is one of the directors for Kardec Spiritist Society of Houston. It's a very nice Spiritist center that we have over here as well. And he has been active with them since 2012. With that, I will hand over to you, Flavio.
Okay.
And good luck. And I know you are going to do a wonderful presentation. So let me promote you to
Okay.
as the host.
Host. Okay.
You can introduce yourself and talk to the team. So the ball is yours.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen first. And okay, I'll take this one. I think I'll take this one. Yeah, and I will share the presentation. Can you all see this?
We see, yes.
Okay. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank you all to have me here. This is it's not anything new. It was a interpretation, or it's a summary of what Allan Kardec prepared in his book, the Book of the Spirits. And it's like a summary, and it's important for us to understand what reincarnation is for us. I'm coming from a spiritist.
Can I cut you 1 second? I don't know, it's only for me, but the sound is really, how is the sound for everybody else? Maybe it's only for me.
It's good for me.
It's good for me too. It's okay.
So I'm sorry, Flav. I'm so sorry.
Maybe.
E para mim está dando pouco de eco.
For Maria,
Reverberate, está reverberando pouco.
Reverberando?
É.
I will try to do with the... Let me see if I can do it.
Set if I can get set to the computer microphone. So it's
My husband say, Flavio, maybe you check if the settings, you already use the computer microphone. Usually it's not
Versus,
versus.
Can you hear me better now?
there it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hope so. Okay. So my idea here was to try to make a consideration about reincarnation, because it's one of the most, the basic for the Spiritists. For us, Spiritist, I'm not sure if everybody is Spiritist in the which is listening, but for us, the reincarnation is the basic for everything. So we need to do a few things. So for us, the Spiritists, the faith in the existence of God and his attributes is the most important thing. So we have on question 13 of Book of the Spirits that God is eternal, infinite, immutable, because it's already perfect. He's perfect, he cannot change and get any better. So it's immutable. He's immaterial also, he's unique, omnipotent, and sovereignly just and good. That's the description that the spirits bring about God, what God is. They don't know much about God, because it is something very immaterial. Even then they ask they answer. They don't have a full picture of God is, but they have the attributes of God, and that's what we understand. So these attributes of God will be present in most of this presentation, okay? And reincarnation is one of God's law. So we consider that reincarnation is God's law. And how did we Spiritists come to faith in reincarnation? We as Spiritists need to have this concept very clear, because it's something that's very, we need to understand the reincarnation, but we need to see by ourselves, do we believe in reincarnation? Why do we believe in reincarnation? Do we believe because somebody told us? We believe because there was I read that somewhere, I have a feeling, or what? So we must have a good concept about reincarnation itself. That's why I put together this presentation. So it's important for ourselves and also to communicate to others. If somebody asks us, why do you believe in reincarnation? Because reincarnation is a faith. We cannot prove it materially, but it's a faith. So we have to be able to communicate to others if they come and make any question about that. But we have a few boundaries. In this presentation, the concept of God will not be discussed. This talk is not addressed to those who don't believe in God, due to the lack of time, because if we need to convince somebody that God exists, it would take too long, okay? But we are just focusing on reincarnation. I hope everybody believes in God over there. I don't know everybody. So let's move on. So incarnation, let's talk about incarnation. Incarnation is a fact. We are incarnated. We can do much about it. We have to accept incarnation. That's a fact, and it's a fact for everybody that tries to make any thought about this, any philosophy about this. We know incarnation is a fact. What we don't know, usually don't know, what comes before the incarnation. See? So if we understand that we are incarnated, what happened before? That's open for discussion. And also what happens after? It's open for discussion too. So the incarnation is between these two other facts. We don't know what happens before, we don't know what happens afterwards. So in this case, there is three options. Two of them talks about incarnation, and the other one is many people take this, is the thesis of the nothing. The nothing is what they claim. So before there was nothing, and after there will be nothing as well. So that's the main thing about the thesis of nothing. It happens there, and it has some consequence. The incarnation would be just an organic consequence. It's not something that is driven by God, by anything. It's an organic consequence. It does not distinguish body and spirit. There is just the body. Okay. Nature and human intelligence were created by chance. In this case, because everything was organic, it was a creation by chance. There was some mutations, and then, oops, we are mankind. It does not explain the diversity of behaviors and characters. What we say about that, when we see each other, we know that we are very different between one another, and not just differently physically, but in our behaviors, in our characters. We are completely different from one to the other. And that would be a consequence of an organic thing. So even this is, at least for me, doesn't make much sense. I would like to say that if somebody wants to add anything, you just ask to interrupt. I'll be open to talk a little bit. And it makes also the thesis of the nothing, makes the acts of kindness to others completely futile and without objective. If there is nothing after, nothing before, why should I make any kind act for anybody? It would be completely futile. And that doesn't drive one to make kindness acts for anybody. And it's a very materialistic and incompatible with the faith in God. So although there are many people that believe that, it's completely materialistic. It's something that is not compatible with the faith in God. And let's talk about the reincarnation citations in the Book of the Spirit, okay? So as Spiritists, we start with this book that was brought by the Spirit to Allan Kardec, who made the compilation of it. And on second part of the book, chapter 4, it deals with the plurality of carnal existence. So the chapter 4 talks about what happens during incarnation, what's going on, something is like this, something like that. So the spirits come and explains a lot of things in a way that we would not be able to know without their help. So it is like a revelation for us. So it presents information on successive incarnations, the spirits. The spirits present incarnation as a reincarnation as a fact. For us, incarnation is a fact. For them, reincarnation is a fact because they have learned, they are on the other side, and they know that they have been incarnated before. So reincarnation for them is a fact, not for us. Should we believe in reincarnation just because the spirits present it to us in such a way? That's the big question to do. Do we believe in reincarnation because, okay, the spirit said so, so that's it. So how can we explain to somebody that doesn't believe in spirits either, in the communication between the material and the spiritual world. So if I don't believe in it, how can I believe in reincarnation? It's completely awkward. It's difficult to do that. So we shouldn't believe in reincarnation just because they told us. But in the same part too, there is the chapter 5, which is consideration of the plurality of existences. It's just the next chapter. The chapter before the Spirit tells how does it work, what happens during the reincarnation. And in chapter 5, it comes with consideration plurality of existence. However, this is the only chapter in the book of the Spirit that there is no participation of any spirit. The Spirit doesn't answer Kardec. Kardec got to a point that, okay, this is something that we don't need spirits to tell us that we can deduct it by ourselves. And he went on the full chapter 5 to talk with logic to show that the concept of reincarnation was not part of this third revelation. We call the codification, the codification done by Allan Kardec as the third revelation to mankind. This third revelation, it was done by many spirits, by questions and answers provided by Allan Kardec, and this is the third revelation. I'm not sure if you all understand what's the third. The first one was Moses, that brought us the 10 commandments. So it was something that was given like what is the rules of the right. So we used to say it is the rules of the no. You cannot do such, you cannot do such, you cannot do such. So you cannot kill your brothers and sisters. You cannot steal from them, and so on. That was the first revelation. It was from one person that got this revelation by them. The second one was provided by Jesus. Jesus came to say, okay, I didn't come to destroy the law, which was the Moses law, the 10 commandments. So the 10 commandments is still valid, but on top of that, you need to do something more. You need to love one another. And more than that, you need to love your enemies, which is until today very difficult for all of us. And the other thing that he brought is that there is an afterlife. There is something beyond the material life, and that was the second revelation. And the third revelation talks about the communication between the spiritual life, saying what happens on the spiritual life, afterlife. Okay. So the reincarnation was not part of the third revelation. And Kardec wanted to prove that with the chapter 5. And most of this presentation is based on this chapter 5. So reincarnation is a concept and a phase that can and must be reasoned by each one of us as incarnated. Allan Kardec and the Spirit, they brought the idea that all our faith must be from reasoning. The faith must be a reasoned faith. We need to understand, we need to know why do we believe in that thing. And incarnation is the same thing. Reincarnation is the same thing. So we need to discuss that. We need to put together the way that Allan Kardec has put. So incarnation versus reincarnation. Okay. Disregarding the thesis of nothings, nothingness. There are two hypotheses in force among those who have faith in God. There are just mostly two hypotheses. The first one is the uniqueness of carnal existence. Okay, we can come here once, and then after this one existence, our future is completely decided. Okay, so uniqueness of carnal existence. And the other one is the plurality of carnal existence. So we came several times. So the reincarnation is something that happens continuously. So these are the two most, I believe the two only ones to those who have faith in God. But let's not forget, God is eternal, infinite, immutable, immaterial. God is unique, omnipotent, and sovereignly just and good. That are the attributes of God. So anything that happens in the world, anything that happens in the universe must be compatible with God's attributes. At least is what I understand, is what Kardec pointed us. So Kardec has a starting point, and he says, let us examine this matter from another point of view, and abstracting from any intervention from the spirits, let us put them aside for the time being. Suppose this theory, the theory has nothing to do with them. Suppose even that one has never considered spirits. Place ourselves momentarily on neutral grounds, admitting the same degree of probability for both hypotheses, the uniqueness and the plurality. That is, that the plurality and the uniqueness of the corporeal existence, and let us see which way reason and our own interests will make us lean to. So the idea would be to start from the basic, not having any bias about one way or to the other, and let's see what happens. Let's consider that both would have the same conditions to be true. So let's start with uniqueness of carnal existence. Again, let's not forget the attributes of God. So the body, in this case, the body is inhabited by a spirit who is created by God immediately before its incarnation. It means that before incarnation, there was nothing. We don't have a history, we don't have a past. There would be just something starting at the birth or at conception, let's say, but at birth. And after that they believe in something. So this spirit does not disappear after death of the body. So the uniqueness of carnal existence, you would live once in one incarnation, and then you will have the afterlife, as Jesus has told us. So that is the basic. However, there are diversity of conditions in the incarnated being. We talk about physical attributes. We can have all kinds of different physical attributes. We can be completely perfect in materially. You have two eyes, two ears, hands, and everything's okay. And you can have big defects. You might not have one arm, one leg. You may have problems in your body, maybe some illness in your body that came with you from the birth. You may have different color of your skin. So there are a lot of things happening, and that puts us in different conditions during life. Also, the intellectual capacity. We see every day people with different intellectual capacity. And it happens. Social difference, people that have been starving, almost starving to death during the whole life, and people who has big wealth, completely full of money, they don't know what to do with their wealth. And it's a big difference. Also, geographical condition, people that were born in the United States, in Europe, people were born in Africa, South America, and Asia. That will give them, for anyone that has this difference, will give them different conditions to go through life. That's something that makes a lot of difference. Cultural difference, temporal evolution in civilization. Let's say that what if we have been living 500 years ago? We have been created 500 years ago, and with a civilization completely different from what we have today, and compared to somebody that is created just for this new civilization that has everything, has even cell phones and etc. So we would have completely different conditions for that being that will have just one chance to move on to happy life, or to move on to the very bad hell, etc. So that's something that used to make a lot of questions. And then there was other rules that were invented. Okay, but if you have a lot of hardships, then you go directly to heaven. Hell, if it's just on the small material life compared to the immortality, why don't make me put in a very hardship place, and then I would go to heaven very, very easily. So that thing goes against a lot of the attributes for God. It's difficult for us to see all this diversity and still believe that God would be fair to everybody with just one existence. So, but let us speak about Jesus. We know that Jesus came, and Jesus is the ultimate example of perfection. So let's say that the uniqueness is still our analysis here. So Jesus would have just one carnal existence, and he's very perfect. He's much better than all of us. He knows from the beginning that he will go to hell. Was his spirit created just before the incarnation? That's the big question. What about Jesus? Have he also been created just before incarnation? If uniqueness of existence is there, so there's no exception to the rule. But Jesus spoke of experiences and knowledge apparently acquired before incarnation. He even brought revelation knowledge impossible to be acquired in this world. So he brought a lot of revelation, saying, okay, in the house of my father, it happens like this. So it's something that looks like he knew something before he incarnated. So it's something. So there are a few exceptions or not, but let's move on. So with Jesus, let's say that there is just one unique incarnation for everybody, even for Jesus. And with Jesus, God would have proven his ability to create perfection. Okay, he could create perfection from the beginning. was Jesus. So he would have proved it. However, God being perfect, why would he afterwards has mostly created beings as imperfect as I am? So after he did something perfect, why he kept on producing or creating spirits that are very imperfect as I am? So it's something that we need to understand, we need to put together and to see, okay, what's going on? Is this something that we can consider as a fact that I can't put my face on that? So let's move on. I believe I give this to everybody to put in your minds and see what's going on. So the diversity of condition and the opportunities are not compatible with the justice we attribute to God. That's, in my opinion, it wouldn't be compatible with the justice that God has to everybody. He loves all its creation. So why he would put differently condition or different condition for hardships or of happiness, based on what would be very biased from God, and that goes against one of its attributes. So God cannot, although God is omnipotent, he can do anything, he cannot commit an injustice at all, or make a mistake, because he's perfect and he's sovereignly just. So although he has the possibility to do so, he would never commit injustice. Otherwise, he would lose his place as God, because it would go against one of the attributes, would be much similar to any human being like us. The hypothesis of uniqueness of carnal existence denies several God's attributes. It's something that is difficult for us to go with this hypothesis and not break with some of God's attributes. Any law of God, that would be a law of God, the uniqueness of carnal existence, must reaffirm all God's divine attributes. So you need to have, if the God is created by God, it must be compatible, it must be in line with its attribute. Allan Kardec, employing logics, help us conclude, if I have faith in God and in all of his attributes, the uniqueness of carnal existence cannot be true. It's something that goes beyond my comprehension. I could not have a faith in this type of law with enough reasoning to go ahead with that. The thesis of the oneness of existence is a dogma that contradicts the attributes of God. And more than that, the thesis of uniqueness of carnal existence by logic nourish and justify in many of our brothers and sisters their disbelief in God. I have seen many people that doesn't believe in God just because these people, they go and see, okay, but there's so much injustice on earth. How can happen to have a God and it let it happen like this? All this injustice, all this problems that we have, all this violence. So this type of belief is feeding, nourish many of them to disbelieve in God. That is one of the big problems. Although a lot of people admit that is what they believe, but me as a spiritist, I cannot believe in that. I cannot, in good faith, believe in that. So let's go to the other option that we have: plurality of carnal existence. And we have analyzed one. Let's analyze the other one without any bias. Let's try to do the same with the other one. So Allan Kardec in chapter 5 analyzed this alternative without comparison with the previous hypothesis, but it analyzed it independently. So the conceptualization of the reincarnation process, okay? This is something that some of it is brought by the spirits, okay? So they say that God continually creates spirits. It wasn't created everyone at once. It wasn't created, it's similar to the creation just before incarnation, but it continually creates spirits all the time, because he is the only source of spirits creation. Each spirit is exactly like each other. I'm talking here not physically, because we are talking about spirit, okay? They are exactly like each other. They were created simple and imperfect. They were not perfect, but they were perfectible. So we all have been created simple and imperfect, but we are perfectible. We can evolve. There are no privileges or prejudice. Everybody starts the same way everywhere in any time of the previous history that we don't have access to. So millions and billions of years, that's what God creates, spirits, and they all are created simple and imperfect. The created spirits are immortal. They, after creation, they don't die. There is not a death of the spirits. So the spirits tell us that we are, as spirits, immortal, but endowed with a free will. We have the free will, we have the freedom to decide what we will do, what we will perform during this immortal time. And there is no predetermined trial to follow. Each one of us has a very specific trail that we can follow. And this trail is built by each one of us, because we have our free will. Okay, I want to keep being not as good as I could be, so I'll stay longer there, but some others, go ahead, okay, I want to move away, give me pleasure to do good to others. And so that's the trail each one of us takes. And no trail is identical to the other. So in successive reincarnation, these spirits acquire moral and intellectual values. They are attracted to God. All this conceptualization were given by the Spirit in the spiritual, the Book of Spirits. And it's there, they tell us how it happens. It's something that we cannot, in our conditions or as material, to have this knowledge. It's something that was told to us. but looks considerably sound, all of them. Reincarnation is not a recent concept. Long time ago, Pythagoras and Buddha and etc., they all talk about reincarnation. There are many societies, many civilizations that consider reincarnation as something that they worship, that's something that happens. So it was not created by the Book of the Spirits, but the Book of Spirit brought us information about how it works, how it goes on. Okay. So communication with spirits, revelation, allowed us to better understand the reincarnation process. That's what I told you in the previous slide. In successive incarnation, the spirit goes through countless experiences. We have been male and female in our path. We have been in all kinds of races in our path. We have been black, we have been white, we have been all kinds. We have been in the jungle, Amazon jungle, everywhere. We have been different. We have been in diversity of situation we witness in our material world. So we don't take just incarnation in one experience. We need to go through several experiences. Me as a man, I may have been a woman 10 incarnations before. I need, or if not, I will have to be, because I need to have the experience of motherhood. It's something that's important for the spirit. That's what we got from the Book of Spirits. Such diversity are no longer God's injustices, but educational tools for our evolutions. So that's something that is very important. Although we see people suffering here or there, people getting everything that the others doesn't have. Some people have all the power possible to somebody to have, and people that has no power at all is being the shorter level of authority everywhere. But it's not injustice. You will have conditions in the future to have different experience in power, in wealthness, in poorness. And so it's not God's injustice anymore. They are just educational tools for our evolution. If I don't use well what have been given me in one incarnation, I will have to go through something to give me the opportunity to learn another way, to learn that everything that I did wrong in the previous one, I need to go on and, okay, that hurts. I don't want to do it to anybody else. So that's just an educational tool that we all get to happen. So reincarnation is this type of tool. And this type of tool is very important for each one of us. So Jesus, let's talk again about Jesus. Jesus went through the reincarnation process like all of us, but in immemorial past was so far away that there is none of the spirits that has given any information on the Book of the Spirit could tell anything about what was the past of Jesus. Jesus was one of the creators of this, our orb, our terrestrial orb. So it's about 4 billion years. 4 billion years ago, Jesus was already Jesus. He was very evolved, almost perfect at 4.5 billion years ago, which is, I cannot imagine how it can be. But he went through reincarnation in his time. After a while, he had gone through all the experience he needed. And he got to a point that he doesn't make any error anymore. He doesn't need to reincarnate. But he is used by God to help us all. That's the benefit. We as spirits, we can evolve close to the condition of God. It will take 500 million years for one of us. But after that, God can use this power, the creation power that we have, latent in our condition, to do better things for others that God is still creating. So it never ends. It's always a process that goes on and go and go. So Jesus went through the reincarnation process like us. In our orb, we live with brothers and sisters in various degrees of evolution, most often in the material plane. We can see people that you see, okay, this person is not from this world. It's very evolved. Let's talk about Chico Xavier, Gandhi, many others that came to the world, and they say, man, this guy is so evolved. Why he's coming here? I'm not very any close to this type of evolution. So we, as brothers and sisters, we have various degrees of evolution, living at the same time. We can have one of us very evolved, another one just younger, not or older, but not evolved already. So in our orb, we live with different spirits evolved differently. Some are older, some are younger, but that's the beauty of living in this orb. We have contact with all of them, and that's the big benefit, because having somebody that's more evolved than you can see that example, and that may motivate you to go on, motivate you to evolve, motivate you to go ahead and try to mimic at least as much as possible to that brother and sister that shows so evolved for us. So the physical deformities that can happen in the material world, body, material deficiencies, let's say richness or poorness, social positions, diversity of races, geographical locations, and evolution of civility are temporary in nature. So it's not something, okay, if we were coming here just once, that would make a big difference. I came just once, how can I be tested to go to heaven, to go to something like that? Just once, and I haven't been prepared. So our reincarnation is a preparation that we go over and to reach something that we will reach someday, being very close to the perfectness of Jesus and close to perfectness of God. But it will take, in my case, it will take a lot of time before that. And we have several places to go. We don't have to live just on Earth. We can go to other planets. That's the mechanical, the law the evolutionary law that God created has all this embedded in it. So the adverse condition experienced by the individual help the learning process and allow evolution with time. So time is one important part of the evolution. Some of us need more time, some of us need less time. But we can sometimes look at somebody that we feel that he's very evolved already, she's very evolved already, but it may be a lot older spirit than we are. So it's something that we cannot judge each other, but we can certainly imitate the good things that any one of us can do to each other. So with the plurality of the existence, the diversity of opportunity is perfectly compatible with the attributes of God, because there's no bias on God's decision. There is no, he's not making any hard decision with us. So considering reincarnation as a divine law, allow us to deduct and confirm all God's attributes. God is eternal, infinite, immutable, immaterial, unique, omnipotent, and sovereignly just and good. So with the plurality of the existence, we cannot deny any of those attributes. So it's much more sound. That's something that I can have my faith, and my reason would not make it uncomfortable for me to understand that, to believe in this type of thing. So my faith in God and all his attributes directs me to my reasoned faith in the plurality of carnal existence. How does faith in reincarnation resonate in the Spiritist person? Okay, what the Spiritist person would benefit with this type of faith? It strengthens our faith in God. It modifies our point of view in the analysis of situation. If we think that, okay, we are suffering a lot this time, we are having this type of hardship, but maybe somehow I deserve, maybe I need to have faith in God that he is not being unfair to me. So it modifies my point of view during the hardships, okay? So our life plans are no longer restricted to one single life. It encourages our dedicated study of the Book of Spirits, and it also convinces us of the benefits of practicing good deeds to others. So that's something that doing good deeds to others will benefit me somehow, will benefit me in getting sympathy from other spirits and getting closer to the good spirits, making my vibration closer to high, more evolved spirits. And it helps us, all the spiritists, the reincarnation, help us to be less materialistic. So at this point, we thank God for the natural law of reincarnation, because it's something that will help us. And we thank Jesus for helping us to successfully take advantage of it. So Jesus came and brought us a lot of conditions for us to take advantage of it. Okay. And I think that's what I had to say today. And we invited all of you to go sometime in Kardec Houston.org is our web page at the internet. Okay, so that's finished my presentation, and I would be open to any discussion, any question, and let's open for that.
Okay, everyone, thank you. Thank you so much, Flavio. Very good analysis. Guys, is there anyone with questions and or comments? Just, okay, so Art, go ahead, please. I knew you would. You would be the letter person.
Yes. I'm very happy to see that this reincarnation is presented as a theory, because I know the Eastern religions all believe in it. It's a very well accepted through the mediums and spirit realms. But every once in a while, you come across teachings that say, nope, no reincarnation. I know the book that I was taught from, the OWASP, says that there is no reincarnation needed because the lower levels of heaven or of the afterlife are so earth-like that whatever lessons you need to learn, you can learn them there, and you do not have to come back and inhabit another physical body. The Spirit William James, who some of you may remember him as being a psychologist. He was his most famous book is The Varieties of Religious Experiences. He says that what seems to be like reincarnation is actually spirit possession, in that you have now two spirits residing within the one body. And of course, they're vying for control of the physical. That second spirit then wants to give his story, and he may be, he may be 100 years older than the spirit that the normal spirit that's in the body. So that's pretty much much of what was presented here is fantastically good about the incarnation, the original incarnation of the body. That's excellent. It follows right along with what I was taught. Thank you. Done.
Okay. Well, the point about this single incarnation is that it is difficult for you to decide where you're gonna go with the opportunities you have. That's what I try to put there. Let's say that you're talking about lower heavens, and so from the lower heavens, would you be going to higher heavens and things like that? I'm not very familiar with that, but I'm familiar with the Spiritists that was brought by Allan Kardec. And the Allan Kardec view, not Allan Kardec view, he didn't put this in from his mind. He put it from other spirits that brought him. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Allan Kardec process of compiling the information from the spirits. He got the surprise that there were intelligence response from physical things. That was the circling tables, or I don't know what's the name in English. But the point is, he made different questions for different mediums everywhere, and they only put on the Book of Spirits only the answers that had consistency between them, to make sure that they were something that we can attribute from the spirit, because the question he did was question that was not earthly. You could not deduct from the earth understanding or from the earth. So there's a lot of beliefs around there. I don't think that it would be fair to say that we have better understand or we don't have better understand. What we know and what today I know is that we have many religions. We have many ways to reach God. That's why we call religion. Religion is a way for us to reconnect with God. Religare in Latin. So our reconnection with God is something that's important. So you go after any religion that gives you comfort and move on with that. But don't forget to try to reconnect with God, because there will be a time when maybe you're going to suffer something, and God would like to use this reconnection to help you just in time. So that's the beauty of it. God doesn't need to have one version of religion. Anything is good. And the good thing is that you go on and you get evolved with time. Don't stop evolving. Go ahead. Thank you for your question. Nice.
Thank you,
your
Art.
most
And
like-
yeah, go ahead,
What's
Tom.
your most latest up-to-date communication with the spirit world, Flavio?
Excuse me?
What is your most latest up-to-date communication with the spirit world?
Lightest? What do you mean? I didn't understand your question.
Can you explain it, Anna?
So
Louis,
I
have you ever sat in a home circle and communicate with the spirit world?
No, we have in our center, Spiritist center, we have a mediumistic meeting. And then we get the presence of some spirits coming to talk to us. And then we dialogue with them. And there are all kinds of spirits. We have
Mental or physical?
Not physical, not physical. We don't need the physical anymore. I don't think it has been already proven that they can reach us. I believe in the past it was very important to have the physical and to show something, to raise interest from people. Now, I think this point is past. We need to have this communication mostly to help other spirits that are already deceased and they don't know what they are doing.
Have you sat with a deep trance medium or a direct voice medium?
It's a medium, it's direct voice, yeah.
Have you sat with them and communicated with the spirit world and talk to them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not a medium myself.
No.
I just talk with them.
But have you spoke? What is the latest up-to-date information that you've received from the spirit world?
We don't look for additional information. I think the importance, we have everything that we have already. We don't need to have anything new. We don't know nothing. Why do we need something new?
Can I add something maybe to Tom's question? If I'm not understanding wrong, Tom. After Allan Kardec, I think the biggest medium that everybody really believes because his level of evolution was Chico Xavier. We have several books of several others very good mediums, but Chico Xavier is basically a trustful, everybody trusts. He brought a lot of, he kind of complete Allan Kardec's compile. Correct me, Ana, Luis, if I'm doing say wrong, and Flavio. But I believe that's what you're asking. What new, what update from Allan Kardec we have?
Do you know about
Yeah,
Leslie
the
Flint
biggest
or
one.
any of the other mediums going around today?
Yeah, we have several other mediums too, but at the level of
amazing,
Chico Xavier, I don't believe so. So Chico Xavier would be the second one in the doctrine to bring the updates, I believe. Nowadays, we have mediums who write books and are really good books. And I think all it's valid, but at the level of Allan Kardec and Chico Xavier, it's the two of them.
So you've never listened to Leslie Flint or read his book?
I haven't.
No, I don't believe so.
Never heard of Leslie Flint?
No.
And I guess
Louis, I sent you hundreds of recordings from Leslie Flint.
yeah, that's nice. And I guess the answer to those questions is about the universal teaching from the spirits, right? So we know for sure, you know, doesn't matter the name or how it comes, but at the end of the day, as long as we see consistency between all those messages coming from everywhere, you know, yeah, if they're based on love, if they're based on this mentality of compassion and love for everybody, you know, and then yeah, there you go, you have
Creation
consistency
is love.
with it. Yeah.
Love is creation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Creation is light, energy.
Energy. Yeah, that's true.
Love, light.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Good discussion. So, Luis, go ahead, please.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Flavio, for sharing your knowledge. And I remember something that Art said that just reminded me that something that is very subtle. Art said that there's a book saying that some spirits don't need to reincarnate here because what we call errant realms are already so physical that people wouldn't need to come down here. Is it what you said, Art? Yeah. And I think it's something interesting. That's the superior spirits usually say that many people that are in these realms, they think they don't need to reincarnate here, but they come to a point that sometimes, and there is a scene like that in one of the books by Chico Xavier, that the superior spirits come and say, "Hi guys, the party is over. You have to go down to earth, right? You have to reincarnate because you will need it, because there is the most physical moment for your reality and the most testing plane where you're going to be tested for sure, and not here, although you are in that sort of spiritual realm." So I think it was very interesting what you said. There is a reality like this. But it's something that we need to sit down together and discuss about that, because it's evolutional. Everything we're studying is evolution, and every new piece of knowledge will have to be discussed rationally. And what we are doing here is trying to present a method for doing that, a method that's good, that's been very useful, right? But it is very, very nice when I heard that from Art, that things are for us to discuss, but not to dispute, to discuss, right?
Exactly.
This is what really matters, and I think it's very nice. And thank you, Flavio, for your cooperation again, Livian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would say that, in fact, the reincarnation is like a theory, but we can see so many researchers nowadays, like Ian Stevenson's,
Tim Tucker.
and Tim Tucker, and other ones that show us the evidence of reincarnations, not for everyone like they say, but I would say that in some point maybe it's for everyone, and it's important to see these evidences because they show us how frequently it happens, how much evidence we have nowadays, and it helps us to understand that maybe it's not so theoretical things. We can see it nowadays, not in some ways as logical as we see for some points God's justice, but not only for that, but to see that we see researchers, we see evidence, we see people that searching for it to us and to show us,
Not to say
not
personal
just to
experiences. Yeah.
think theoretically, but to see
Theoretically.
practically.
Practically.
Yes, very good. Yes, and what I think Flavio was wanted to say also is that even if we didn't have all this evidence, even if we didn't have all this practical and this practice with mediumistic circles and the information from the other side, if we reason well, we'll come to the conclusion that reincarnation is a great explanation for all the cases, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, as you say, Kardec is the method, and he brought us the method, not the all conclusions. As he said, Spiritism is evolutional, and we can learn a lot still, and we can learn with the spirits, we can learn with the researchers, and is it still Spiritism, is it still the spiritualism that we want to learn universally.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me add a little bit. The point here, if we wait for a complete proof for the reincarnation, we lose our time. We as spiritists, we need to use this information, we need to use our faith in our benefit. And my benefit, I mean, my evolution, my understanding better what's going on with in life, what's going on in the world. Let's say, okay, today there's something happening, there are a lot of suffering in the world, but what can I do to help that? What can I do to help close to me? And that, to do that, I need that type of faith. And that faith, for me, needs to be reasonable. That's what Kardec wanted for us to get. You only believe in what you can put reason, enough reason there to have a reasoned belief. Otherwise, you keep on looking to see if that's okay or not. But the benefit, you need to find ways to apply what you learn, apply what your faith leads you.
Alrighty. Okay, hi, Saints.
Yes, I'm not sure. I think that we all have our various faiths and beliefs, and in the spirit guides that we have met, and we think that this is the one truth. But I think that in the afterlife, there is an afterlife, and that this earth is, for some reason, one of the learning places, and we come back. I believe that I recognize 2 other existences, but and there are still people who will try to convince people that this is only it, there is nothing else. And so I think that, I mean, look at the billions and billions. Why is Earth the only place that we can come to? But we need maybe, the Earth experience to move on to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just this is just what I mean. I listen to a lot of people, and everybody has their own guides, and they believe that what their guides say is the only truth, and that I cannot accept.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you. Hi, Saints. 4.21, folks. So we passed the hour over here. Sorry, but very good discussion, and thank you so much, Flavio, for coming and talking to us today. It was a pleasure to have you today, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be give some thoughts to and or reasons for everybody to think a little bit, and yeah. So I love when Kardec says, like Luis was mentioning, we are not here to say what the truth is, but at least to provide all the possibilities. And then it's up to us, like you showed us, according to this method from Kardec, how to challenge your belief, right? So how to come from this analytical standpoint and challenge and makes, and then if after that analytical assessment, if you will, then if it makes sense to you, great. So if it doesn't, then just we continue on, right? So
That's it.
yeah, thank you so much. And folks, I will see you next Saturday then. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Flavio.
I would like to thank everybody for the time and the opportunity to be here. So thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank
you all.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.